You know that feeling of falling you get sometimes when you're asleep? Well, the pons is the culprit. But don't be so quick to judge it. It is also responsible for a lot of things that you could not live without. The pons is located above the medulla oblongata and below the midbrain in the brainstem. It was first described in the 16th century by Italian anatomist Costanzo Varolio, hence why it's sometimes called the pons Varoli. Pons is Latin for bridge. Fittingly, the pons acts as a bridge between the cerebellum and the cerebrum, relaying important motor and sensory information. The pons can be roughly divided into two parts: the basilar or ventral pons, which primarily links the cerebrum and cerebellum, and the pontine tegmentum, dorsal pons, which contains the cranial nerve nuclei.
The basilar pons contains the pontine nuclei, which carry information from the primary motor cortex to the cerebellum. They also extend into the medulla. As such, they're important in learning motor skills. The pontine tegmentum contains 4 cranial nerve nuclei.
The trigeminal nerve sensory and motor nuclei, cranial nerve 5, involved in chewing and swallowing, as well as touch and sensation around the head and in the mouth. The abducens nuclei, cranial nerve 6, involved in moving both eyes in tandem. The facial nerve nucleus, cranial nerve 7, which controls all muscles involved in facial expressions and the tongue. The vestibulocochlear nuclei, really the vestibular and cochlear nuclei, involved in balance and transmitting sound information from the ear.
In addition to these nuclei, the pons is host to a variety of white matter, axons carrying sensory and motor information of all kinds to and from the cerebrum.
When the pontine tegmentum is damaged, the kinds of symptoms displayed will depend on which of the cranial nerves was affected. For example, someone with damage to the abducens nucleus, which is the cranial nerve involved in moving your eyes, could be unable to move their eyeballs sideways.
A stroke involving the pons is rare, but can result from neck trauma, sudden pressure, or extreme movements of the head or neck. Because of its involvement in a wide array of functions, symptoms from the pontine stroke vary. A few examples are balance difficulty, vertigo. Remember, the pons is responsible for the free-falling feeling when you're asleep. Dizziness, double vision, swallowing difficulty, problems articulating words, numbness, and even nausea. Of note, damage to the pons can lead to locked-in syndrome, which results in complete paralysis of voluntary muscles while remaining in full conscious awareness.
In short, the pons acts as a bridge connecting the cortex and the cerebellum. To recap, it is located in the brainstem above the medulla oblongata and is made up of 2 main parts, the basilar pons and the pontine tegmentum.
It is responsible for the regulation of many involuntary functions, such as breathing, chewing and swallowing, balance, facial sensation, facial expressions, saliva and tear secretion, bladder control, and muscle relaxation during REM sleep.
When the pons malfunctions, it can lead to serious problems such as locked-in syndrome and strokes, which may result in death.